This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore.
Marjorie Taylor Greene is many things. One, she is a disappointment to me that I have to talk about her as often as I do, but she has become a mainstream figure in the Republican Party. She's not some out there fringy character. She embodies and is imbued with power, influence in the Republican Party. She goes on interview shows, mind you, always easy softball, t-ball interviews where she's not asked a tough question at all. She likes to exist in an echo chamber, as was the case recently, this past Sunday, on Lou Dobbs, the former Fox Business host, the nutsack with ears, and they talked about the military. And you're going to be seeing a lot of headlines, a lot of people like me who do what I do, talking about how Marjorie Taylor Greene said that to join the military is like throwing your life away. And they're going to take the take, I would assume, that she's denigrating all military service. I'm going to play the clip of this incident that took place on the podcast, and then we're going to talk about it. But I'll just preface what my point is, that I believe what they're communicating is far more dangerous and pernicious than just joining the military is bad. Because they wouldn't be saying that if Donald Trump was still president. They wouldn't be saying that with any Republican. What they're communicating is that the United States of America is only worth defending when there is a Republican in office. That if there's a Democrat running the country, America's not worth it. She wouldn't send her son or daughter to fight for this country if there's a Democrat in office. Because America's not America unless there's a Republican in charge. The exact quote, I'll get it right here, was, not my son, and I know a lot of young people don't want to have anything to do with that. It's like throwing your life away. Here is that 2 minutes or so of audio. It was a 50-minute podcast, and you're welcome that you don't have to listen to the whole thing. I went through, I found the moment, and we're going to talk about it on the other side. Listen to this.
I just can't even believe the quality of people that are in the United States Department of Defense.
It is
and
shocking.
We've got a recruiting problem. And the way they reported it, particularly for the Army, they reported it that the numbers, the Army is reducing its numbers because there's been some issue with recruiting. No, the numbers are telling them to reduce the size of the force. They're not making that decision. They can't even get enough people to sign up for the military because they've seen the way they're treated. Can you imagine explaining to a recruit, you're going to be just fine, just like those Marines in Kabul. We may not have time to protect you. We may not have time to come back and get you. But it'll work out all right. And by the way, it's okay if you fight a war for 20 years in Afghanistan, and we're going to say fight a third world country for 2 decades and walk out with our tail between our legs. Who in his or her right mind would say, sign me up for that, Sarge? I can't wait. Who would do that?
I don't know. Not my son. And I know a lot of young people don't want to have anything to do with that. It's like throwing your life away. And not to mention how they've been forced to take the vaccine, and the ones that didn't want to take it have been discharged. And, that's like you said, who wants to be treated that way? And then, all these years of foreign conflicts where they were given rules of engagement, where they basically are being shot at and killed and maimed before they're even allowed to fire back and defend themselves. It's a disaster from the top down and the bottom up, especially we can add in the training, the woke training, where they have to undergo this ridiculous ideology of the sick and satanic left. You're right, Lou. I mean, my goodness, it's such a disservice, not only to our military, but our entire country. And that's why this has got to end. I just keep saying it over and over. We got to impeach Joe Biden.
Now, look, this to me is more dangerous than someone who is just anti-military. There's a lot of people on both sides of the spectrum who consider the military a bad thing. A lot of leftists think there's no purpose for a military. I'm somewhere in the middle. I think that our defense budget should be slashed in half. There is no need for an almost $1 trillion yearly military budget. Not in the world we live in today. And because I'm more of a moderate and understanding there is a purpose for our military, if that's the case, then we do need people to serve. I served for years in the United States Marine Corps. And I would be happy if my son or daughter decided on their own that that was a path they wanted to endeavor. And it wouldn't matter to me whether there was a Republican in office or a Democrat in office. And you heard in the clip there that Lou Dobbs is talking about, what was the quote? We're going to fight in a third world country for 2 decades and walk out with our tail between our legs. Who in his or her right mind would say, sign me up for that, Sarge? I mean, does it need to be said that the reason we were in Afghanistan was because of a Republican president? And that Donald Trump, there was a path set to withdraw, just like Joe Biden did. There was the policy decisions that were going to be made relative to Afghanistan are almost indistinguishable from one another. For them to act like Donald Trump was righteous and had it all on lock and Joe Biden bungled it is just nonsense. And it's dangerous to assert that, and to encourage people not to join the military if that is their path, if that's what they want to do, but only because of who's in charge of the country at the time. As though Democrats love war or something. If you go back and you look at the wars that we've been involved in recent modern history, they are Republican orchestrated. So it's just, it defies reason and logic, which is kind of the game plan for Marjorie Taylor Greene, who loves the echo chamber. She does interviews where she's not challenged. She doesn't have to answer any tough questions. It's just someone of like mind who shares the same wacky conspiracy theories as a worldview, and they ramble on and on. Anyway, what do you think? I would love to know. You can call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me, daily@dollemore.com. Thank you for your time and attention and your engagement with my content. Follow me on social media. I'm at Dollemore all over the place. If you'd like to support my work, you can click the join button below, become a channel member, or go over to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. I love and appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Until I do, be genuine. Take care of one another.